路線をまたぐほど東京は地上に星がある街に雨が降って赤い傘さす少女が右足の痛みがなくなんないままで加速してゆく日々の中右足だけずっと1月のまま1月のまま1月のまま
Oh, good morning. Pretty sure this is Rumi's pick. I wasn't like watching, but Rumi's winning it. I don't think that's a surprise, right? Rumi versus bobstevenson, I guess. These two players are again a little bit juxtaposed. Bobstevenson, kind of the tapping goat now. Even though he used to be disabled from like the waist up, but now he's kind of got that dog in him. Meanwhile, Rumi still is tapping disabled, but as you just saw from that hidden one score, she is quite good at aim. Not that Bob sucks or anything, but this is definitely a very Rumi map. Yeah, one miss from Rumi. I thought Bob would have banned Hidden 1. I don't know how good he is at AR8 Hidden though. But if you can play AR8 Hidden, I think it'd be a better ban to go into Hidden 1. Bob insta-picks DT3. And I think Rumi leaving up No Mod 2 is interesting to me, because I think No Mod 2 just is the most stamina-intensive map in the pool. But the DT2 ban's pretty obvious. I mean, DT3, I got 700k on it, man. It's not that hard. Bob's picking it for a reason. I mean, you'll pretty quickly find out if Rumi can play this just from the intro. The intro is probably the most tapping intensive part of a map. And yeah, Rumi does find that break, but Bob trades it. But then Rumi breaks again, so it's actually gonna come down to me, the filler part of the map. Rumi's just looking quite uncomfortable playing this. Get to go 1/3, some more free combo for Bob. Chance for Rumii to maybe build up some combo. So tapping picks up a little bit. There's some longer bursts that are very hard to get through if you're not comfortable on this kind of tapping. And yeah, Bob does break, but Rumii has quite the deficit that she's gonna have to make up through the hardest part of the map, and there's like not enough time anyways. A very quick response back from Bob with a solid 500k. Although both players somewhat evenly matched on their accuracy. I speed gap these fellas. This map's not that hard to tap, man. Now Rumii insta-picks no mod 1. Bob has given like high level cancer. GG. Someone needs to rub his throat better. Anyways, this map is like... The AR is uncomfortably low for an A map of this star rating and BPM, in my opinion, and the angles in it are a little bit unpleasant. Especially with some of the sliders. It reminds me of one of the... Reminds me of the first 4WC qualified and what one I've ever played. The angles in this. Of course, Rumii is the CEO of AIM. She's picking it for a reason. We'll have to see if Bob with his like mild lung cancer can play this map. Ki. First Ki of this map isn't horrible. If you can get through it though, you can probably get up to the ending. Yeah, both players get through the first Ki. Rumii has a decent AC advantage so far. But she actually slider breaks from that burst. The same as the last note, that slider. And that's kinda huge, I feel. The ending to this map is much harder than the intro. We're approaching just around halfway. About to get into the next Ki. Bob nearly slider broke there, but he held on. But he's holding on strong, even with such a large AC deficit, it doesn't matter. Can he hold on through these nice little 1-2s? Of course he can. He's just... He has too much recoil in his aim, he misses right there. Slight over aim on the second note. Does Rumii have a chance? She's gonna have to hit the mild flow aim. Bob breaks on the flow aim. Rumii's holding on for dear life. The score lead flips over, but a break right here would ruin the chance of the comeback. As we get into the linears, neither player trips up, but Bob misses on that triangle. Last quarter, 50k difference. I think, yeah, the Axe making an insane difference here. Bob at 99, and it would probably be dead even. In fact, he'd probably have a slight advantage. But we're getting into the hard stream with some hard jumps. I think with that break, rumii's actually secured this point. It did look a little bit cooked. She found that early slider break, but making a good recovery, whereas Bob started to fall apart towards the ending. We'll have to see if rumii can close out this 1SB choke. Good job. Came decently close to being a break point, but rumii maintains her pick, and now Bob has a chance to respond, probably with no mod 2. Unless his tapping is like feeling disabled. But there's also Hard Rock 2 open, and yeah, that's what Bob opts for. This is a Bob map. It's pretty easy for the most part. Like, it's a lot of filler until the ending, where the ending's just like comedically by far the hardest part of the map. But precision isn't something rumii's very good at, and this kind of like irritating to act, somewhat weird map tends to be up Bob's alleyway. Bob's lung cancer means he won't pick into no mod 2, what the hell? Anyways, this is 125 BPM like ult, I guess. It has a few like interesting mapping decisions. This Bob guy's kinda going off on the no mod 1. Streamer. At streamer. Okay, well, I can't tell, is rumii broken already or not? We can only like assume how well Bob's doing. But I mean, rumii's holding on through this intro. There's not much to miss on right now. Actually, she does find a buzz slider break. I think that's just a lack of comfort on that precision coming into play. Does hit that cut pattern. Look at Bob go, man. Oh. Now we get to see if Bob's winning or if he's like... yeah, he's kind of demolishing rumii. His ack is really good on a map like this. Like, this map is so horrible to ack because it's so slow. And, I mean, if you FC up until the ending, you've basically won this pick. If your opponent's broken anywhere. Making a comeback on this flow aim is very hard. Bob finally breaks, but I mean... I imagine this is amongst the better Hard Rock 2 like accuracies we will see. Never mind. My bad, bro. I mean, he's done more than enough. Pretty dominant performance from Bob. Yeah, even like dropping the axe so hard on the ending, it's still like not horrible for a map like this. Bob is like one of the like 2 people in the world that can ult OD10 or 120 BPM ult. So now it's rumii's chance to pick. I imagine she might go for Yeah, no mod 4, something up that sort of alleyway. But no mod 4 is interesting. I would have thought she'd go for no mod 3. This no mod 4, if you're like willing to just accept getting 93% hack, you can't just ignore the slider ends completely. But the ending does pick it up a little bit with that reading requirement, with some of those slider bursts in particular. And the buzz sliders on this map, you do have to like consciously not aim on the edge of them, or else you will find slider breaks. This intro kinda nothing burger. If you miss on the intro, you might be cooked. Not to miss on the sliders in the intro team. Start to slowly build up. Will either player find a break on the intro sliders? What the hell, they've practiced the map? And now the map will instantly start to pick up. Bob's aiming the middle of his buzz sliders, he knows. Now we get into the actual slider aim here. Double is not throwing either of these players off. Rumi's hitting a lot of these slider ends. But these faster sliders obviously catching both players off. Those fast sliders are like impossible, man, I swear. Both players still holding on though through this first little part of the map. It's just the accuracy right now. Bob dropped a lot of 100s. I think mostly on these slider ends, yeah. I think he nearly misses on that buzz slider, but he holds on through it. Both players comboing. We're just over halfway through the map. And don't let this filler deceive you. You can break on stuff like this quite easily. Neither player breaks on the hardest, like most annoying buzz slider in the map. It's gonna come down to this ending. And the ending to this map's the hardest part. I think it's the coolest part of the map too. I wish it was like the ending, like 24/7. Neither player drops on those buzz sliders. So we get into the ending, and Rumii does actually find the first break. I think that's a miss-aim or miss-tap on those slider triples, which are that reading element coming into play now. Bob is tanking these slider ends, but it doesn't matter, man. Rumi's starting to miss, and that it doesn't matter if you have good ac, if you just can't hold through this map. And yeah, and some of these sliders, Bob's not even trying to go for them. It's just not worth it when the sliders are this hard, and it's working out for him. He's won a breakpoint with... Is that an FC on no mod 4? It is. And 95% AC FC on no mod 4 to secure a breakpoint. And that's what I was worried about with a map like this. If you're willing to just ignore those slider ends, it can start to play more like a 5.8 star. But still pretty solid AC. He didn't ignore all of the slider ends. The first Ki slider ends he hit a decent amount of. Because I do have a practice run of like a 91% accuracy, just ignoring every slider end. So it's not like he completely cheesed the map. And now Bob has a pick. Still has the tapping in no mod 2, but apparently he has severe lung cancer. A map like Hard Rock Free could work because he's like capable of tapping BPMs that would make cripples blush. And yeah, Hard Rock 1 was the other thought I had. Hard Rock 1 can be kind of coin flippy with its burst flow aim in particular. But if you hit that, then it becomes more of an aim check, really. It's very short. And this is a pick that, again, can go either way. But if Bob capitalizes on this pick, then he'll have a consolidated breakpoint, and that could be huge. It starts immediately with the flow aim. And yeah, Bob does find that early slider break. And a map as short as this, it could really count. Because the intro has a lot of combo density with that stream. He finally finds the miss on, again, one of those flow-aimy bursts. On the last note, just snapping away a little bit too early. But yeah, Bob just completely under-aims one of the bursts. So he doesn't give a chance to make that score comeback. Rumi's gonna have to break again. A little bit more flow aim to come out before this filler section. Rumi breaks right before the easiest part of the map. Now Bob has a chance. There's going to be a little bit more flow aim right after this filler. He just needs to hit it. But yeah, he breaks immediately on it. My bad, bro. Breaks chain miss. That gives Rumi so much score, and I think that probably decides the map. Yeah, Bob just missing more on the aim. Rumi finally finds the break, but Bob just can't make it work on a map like this. You know, you can FC it one run and then drop 200k the next. A free miss from Rumi. Bob just falling apart on the streams near the end. Now, Rumi with the breakpoint back, not punished for the pick on No Mod 4. I imagine she opts for No Mod 3 here. Yeah. Missed early mental gun. How real is that, Bob? That's always the problem with picking Hard Rock 1 like that. You can always just go either way. Now, this No Mod 3 is a very accessible AR. It's AR 9.7, which means if you're like competent on aim, you can get away with like sucking at ult. Because it's not very dense. And it's quite low OD, but it still feels mistimed to me. I might be schizophrenic. But Rumi is also the CEO of ult. And as I say that, she does find an early miss. My bad. But this map is 12 years long, so it doesn't matter too much yet. Yeah, Bob trades it on the filler. This map has a lot of cut patterns. I think that's the main difficulty with this map, will just be the cut patterns. The snap ult in this map really isn't that hard. Yeah, Bob missing on that cut double. He just snapped away a little bit too early. So now Rumi has a decent combo lead to work with. Get into the first Ki. On. This Ki is not super high intensity. Gotten through the harder cut patterns in it. Get into more of that snap ult. Bob finds another break. Yeah, rumii's just holding on. That's why I thought I should go for no mod 3 instead of no mod 4. Making the snap look easy. For nearly half a map done, rumii's held on aside from that very early break. Now here's the weird slider part. It's a breakpoint for some people, and it is for Bob, but not for rumii. And I think this map's already been decided. Rumii finally finds the break, but Bob doesn't have anything to work with here. It's the hardest part of the map. Both players starting to find lots of those breaks, but again, like, the CEO of Ult over here has already hit half the map. That's all she needed to do. More breaks from Bob, he just can't put anything together, man. Respectable, I think that's going to be 520k from rumii. And a very dominant performance. Bob, meanwhile, kind of ate concrete on that map. He did not have a good time. How real is that? Forced to play cut streams in my no mod 3. And apparently that's rumii's best local by a double. Good job. Isn't Igaku my favorite map? Where did you find this information? Unfortunately, I don't think it's in the top 100. Anyways, now it's Bob's pick. Now, the map's open. If he could tap, then no mod 2 is obvious. The DT's DT1 is interesting. The AR's not high enough to justify it, and the map's not long enough to really exploit rumii's disability when the AR's above 10. Hard Rock 3's open, but it's such a simple map. I'd be afraid to pick into it. No mod 2 is Bob's pick. Not opting for any of his other options. I think Hidden 3 could have worked as an option. I'm not feeling very confident. We'll have to see. This really just is Oriental's long stream practice map. Like, this is a map randomers can play just fine, man. I don't know what to tell you. It has 4-star filler patterns. No flow aim, there's no reading. Arguably the most stamina intensive map. Sorry, not arguably, it just is the most stamina intensive map of the pool. So we get into the streams. The intro tapping on this map isn't horrible compared to what it becomes. Some quads and doubles to try and trip people up, but I mean, again, if you're missing on the quads and doubles and you're picking into no mod 2, I question your morals. But both players doing just fine. I think The most telling thing here just is the accuracy difference. Rumi's accuracy is not the greatest. And we haven't gotten to the actual tapping intensive section of the map yet. So the map starts to pick up again. Bob does find an early miss, kind of on thin air. Now Rumi's still combo gaming. Rumi finally runs out of stamina. I think that's a finger lock right there. And such a massive chain miss just immediately sets her behind Bob, despite having built up an additional 300 combo. And Bob was feeling uncomfortable, and sure, that early miss may have been kind of doomed, but on a map like this, it just gets harder and harder. And for a player like Rumi, I don't think the ending's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle. You're starting to see like the over-tapping. Bob does actually over-tap slightly, but he still has pristine accuracy. Now we get the break. After the break, there will be a little jump scare and flow aim, because it's kind of... The spacing's a little bit higher than normal. Yeah, and Rumi does break on it again, and I think that should consolidate Bob's pick, short of a chain miss. Get into the most stamina-intensive part of this map. The streams really just don't let up. Bob's starting to run out of stamina. He finds the miss. But again, Rumi just doesn't have anything to work with. Her AC is still just not nearly as good as Bob's, and I think she's ran out of the juice quite a while earlier. You know, Bob looking so comfortable on this map until the longest death stream in it. Bob wins that pick. And I think there's no more tapping in this pool. No more room to abuse my disabled go on the left by my non-disabled go on the right. Rumi didn't actually find that first chain miss, so it's probably a stolen point. And now Rumi opts for ZT1 for her potential. It just is her last pick. It's this DT1. Not opting for DT4 is interesting to me. DT4 is kind of ulty, but it's also kind of... It's a one-pattern map, man. I don't know what to say. DT1 is... The AR is not uncomfortably high. Normally a player like Rumi would get AR gapped by a DT1, but I think she should be fine on this map. Bob is kind of beasting it out. Rumi does find an early miss at Mr. Streamer panic button help. But that early miss from Rumi might be a sign of things to come. Never mind, Bob has way less combo. Might have been a Bancho miss, I don't know. The accuracy is kind of putting in the work though. But Rumi's gonna start to run away with this lead unless she breaks pretty soon. And there's not a lot to miss on if you can play a map like this. But again, you get that TV-sized RNG, and Bob is falling to it. His AC is pristine until that burst, and now it's kind of gone down the drain. And will Rumi FC be TV-sized DT1 farm map? Good job. What's that, like the 4th FC? The 5th FC on this map? Never mind, I forgot. That's not a bancho miss, I guess. A reverse choke. Bob just struggling a little bit with the BPM, I think. He got rapid triggered. I mean, this BPM is kind of like irritating if you don't play like high BPM aim a lot. It's like high enough BPM to make my hand hurt the next day. And Bob goes for hidden free, not opting for DT4, which I think is smart because DT4 is not like, the AR is way too low to like be a massive hindrance to rumii. And it's also, as I said, a one pattern alt map. And you do not pick one pattern alt maps into like an alt player. This hidden free, again, rumii is not the best at precision. It's one of our weaker skill sets. But this map is not very hard. Like, it's a 5-star for a reason. If you get unlucky, you can break on the stars, I guess. The stars are quite spaced for the CS, but they're also like 100 BPM. And there is like the random troll flow aim spikes that are like by far the most coin flippy part of this map in my opinion. We'll have to see how comfortable Bob is, and he showed us right away with a very early break. We'll have to see if this map is comfortable for rumii now. And this map can also nerve check you quite a bit if you shake a lot at my favorite speed players. So far, Bob's aim is kind of scaring me a little bit on this map. rumii's aim is looking composed. Just another break from Bob. But yeah, rumii finally finds that miss right after that star. They see the scores. Bob just doesn't have combo to really capitalize. Get into some more spacing. See if it trips up either of these players. Get into the easiest part of the map here. This is where you drop ag on the... I don't even know what BPM these bursts are. And Bob breaks on it. I think that might have just cost him the pick, to be honest. Yeah, he's not having a great time. Get to the second half. Now rumii's built up a decent combo again. There's still enough time, but I'm pressed to say that Bob can make anything happen with these breaks. Like, rumii has been struggling a little bit on this map. It's nearly over-aiming that last note, but Bob just finding these more inconsistent... These more consistent breaks, sorry. This last quarter, I think Bob just doesn't have enough time. Oh, that's so wholesome, Bob. rumii's actually built up a decent combo here. My bad. Oh, never mind. Bob hits the star. Getting to the ending. Unfortunately, he held his combo a little bit too late. And now we get into the only actually hard part of this map. Will either of the players hit this cancer? Rumii does. And with that, we do not get a TB. As rumii finds the breakpoint, holding 400 combo and winning on hidden free. And with that, both these players are still in the tournament. Like, I think rumii gets to face Rail next week. She already faced Rail today and she got like 6-3'd or something. So I don't know, we'll see what the pool is, see if Cat rigs it. And I don't know who Bob's facing, but I'll find out. Also, I think we have like another match soon-ish. Let's have a look. 48 goes down to face Suki. That's so wholesome. These two players, Suki and Bob, I feel like are more similar than you might expect. Suki's kind of just like a shittier Bob, in my opinion. No BM to Suki. I think the next match is probably... Ooh, it's P versus Goofster. Nails. We might not actually see a hidden 2-ban. But Goofster did say it's an aim map and P's an aim player, so who knows. And then we have Ozzy versus Jeremy. How wholesome is that? I know Suki had their stamina for no mod 2, man. But like, Bob's the GOAT. I don't know how else to say it. Like, he's playing with lung cancer, man. Anyways, we'll be back in like 4 minutes.